We'll just add them in as they come.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Honolulu Ethics Commission meeting. I am Tadia Rice, Vice Chair of the Commission. Today I will be acting as Chair since Chair Monk is excused for today's meeting. For all commissioners that are attending remotely, please remain visible on screen. If a visual connection is lost for an extended period or we lose quorum, we will call a recess until the connection and quorum can be reestablished. For the record, I will take roll call of all the commissioners present to establish a quorum so we can call this meeting to order. Commissioners, please respond when I call your name. Commissioner Adler.
Aye.
Commissioner Jim On. Commissioner Vicky Marks.
Here.
Commissioner Aline Suamori. And myself, and Chair Monk is absent. And we may have an additional member join us very shortly, who was just confirmed this morning, and we're very excited about that. So since we have 4 commissioners here, therefore we have quorum. This meeting is called to order. The time is now 11:36 a.m. Before we get started, are there any members of the public present who would like to identify themselves and address any agenda item? Please speak. Seeing there is none. Do we have anyone? I don't see anyone. If anyone is there, please identify yourself.
That's the new features that are coming up.
I hear someone talking, but I can't tell if that's someone coming in or not. Okay, so with that, we will move on. Agenda item H, new business. I would like to ask the chair, Jen, would have the chair's report and announcements, introductions, correspondence, and additional distribution.
Right.
Seeing none,
I can present on.
Can you speak to that?
24035.
Director.
Can everyone hear me okay? And I wanted to note that Commissioner Marks, you are very, very loud, and Commissioner Suamori, you are very, very soft. So if you do care to have any input for the meeting, please speak up, or in the case of Commissioner Marks, you might want to bring down your volume a little bit. Resolution 24035 was the appointment of Cynthia Lynch to serve on the Ethics Commission. It was heard today at the City Council meeting, which began at 10 o'clock. We understand she has been confirmed and sworn in. She hopes to make it to this meeting. When she arrives, we'll introduce her to everyone and have her take a seat at the table with us. We have meeting materials for her. I'm sure she's not had a chance to look at them, so she will help, we'll help her just kind of follow along with the meeting. Next item is yours on the minutes.
For action, approval of open session minutes of February 21, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve the open session minutes of the February 21, 2024 Ethics Commission meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Adler. I note for the record that Commissioner Adler made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. I note for the record that Commissioner Marks seconded the motion. Members, is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will
Call for the
move
question.
into, oh, I'm sorry, can't hear.
I just called for the question.
Oh, I'm very sorry. Let's call for the
Don't
vote.
worry
I
about
don't see it on my
We're
screen.
very forgiving.
So I'd like to call for the vote. Can we do an oral vote?
Yes.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. So we've done the roll call for those approving the open session, which is passed. Is there anyone opposed to the motion? Hearing none, the motion to approve the minutes is passed unanimously. I will now ask our Executive Director and Legal Counsel, Jan Yamane, to address the next agenda item.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chair Rice. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to begin first with some of the most exciting news that we've had in a long time, and believe it or not, our renovation is done. We just got the lights. The last item that was left were light switches for the lights in our office. They were installed yesterday. I am in contact with the Department of Design and Construction on all of these final last minute little details. And I haven't heard confirmation yet, but I think we're just about finished. There was one final item that is mostly, it affects only my office and the psychologist's office, the HPD psychologist's office, that we share a glass block in between our offices. And they expressed concerns about confidentiality from their side. You know, I guess they could peer into my office and think that I could peer back out to them. So I know that there is a design fix in the works to try and cover that up so that you know, we can ensure both confidentiality in our offices. I will invite those of you commissioners who are here to take a look at our space. We are still moving in. Big furniture is being scheduled. We hope to move in the next week or so. We are swapping some offices out, moving staff around. The desks that we have, the big wooden ones, are very, very heavy. We don't want anybody to get hurt moving them. So we'll have movers come in to do that. The next item is the work report summary. I turn everyone to the meeting materials for those work report summaries.
We know Commissioner Jimon has signed
Oh,
up.
Commissioner Jimon has arrived. It is 11:42. Good morning, Commissioner.
Hang on. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Morning. Just got over a hearing, so
I know your court schedule is very challenging.
Welcome, Commissioner.
Welcome.
well, I'm going to go to trial in less than 30 days. So we're going to be in Maui
Sure.
for 2 weeks. So that's the reason why my court calendar is so congested.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we're happy to have you here today. Thank you very much. I'm on slide 6 on the statistics. We're just winding down the financial disclosure filing period. And I'm going to turn this part of it over to Associate Legal Counsel Eric Irwin to report.
Thank you. So, you know, this year was a little bit unique and it was a big accomplishment, I think, for the year. It was the first time, I think, since we've reported or tracked that we've reached 100% compliance with financial disclosures. And so that's a fairly large task, and it was entirely a team effort. And, you know, I wanted to convey this to you, and I wanted to share kind of how we got here. And I was trying to think of how to do this, because it really embodies what this commission has really stressed and what they want to see from us as employees, to really do that outreach, that soft touch. And so when looking at this, you know, I came up with 3 major kind of pillars. And they all fall under this umbrella of the recognition that we are a government agency, we have limited resources, and we need to use what we have. And so the first thing that really stuck out to me was a retrospective, and I'll try to return to this idea as we get to the end. But coming out of 2023, looking back on what happened, one glaring thing stood out, and we've shared it before, and that was there's one group that consistently was not filing, and consistently we had to move against. And those were board and commission members. And these are not the people we want to go against. This is not what we want to do. So coming out of that, you know, I asked myself, how can we really address this? And what I proposed was to do targeted and tailored training on financial disclosures to board and commissions in person. And so we advanced this idea, and it started to morph. And I know it was mentioned that we want to go for 100% compliance. And
That was our motto this year.
and I remember that meeting, and it was a meeting where, you know, we'll be happy if we get 95%, but, you know, if we, you know, be reportable either way. And so going forward, we had a problem identified, we had a solution. And we started trying to implement it. So come August, come September, I started reaching out to the boards. Terry jumped on, we split the boards, we did that reach out, we started creating the presentation. And which brings me to the kind of like that third and final thing. So we have retrospective, we have the training, and now we have utilizing the staff that we have that we interact with. And these were the board liaisons for the boards and commissions, and also the ASOs. And kind of what I want to highlight here is when we approached the board liaisons for this project, we wanted it to not end there. And whenever we said, hey, can we come and present to your board, the last question we always asked was, is there anything else we could do? And over half said, yeah, there is something we can do. They'd advanced something, a question they had, maybe an RFA that would be classified as that. Or maybe they said, my board is consistently struggling with this one issue. Could you say a little blurb on it when you come? 2 boards actually said, hey, we have a lot of new commissioners. Could you do a new commissioner training so that they don't have to log on in their personal time and they can get that requirement knocked out? And so all of those questions, we said, yes, we can do that. And that really started that journey of building that relationship to a point where we could really rely on them. And this really paid dividends throughout this process, is having that close relationship. And it was built on by all the team members when we communicated with them. And, you know, this was the kind of the easier part. And, you know, we started to get some storm signs, some signs of trouble when we found out that we don't know what filing system we're going to use. Is it going to be this new online system? Is it going to be the old PDF system? And that created a lot of uncertainty. We adjusted accordingly. We taught on both. But it was really busy. We were visiting all the boards. We still had all our work, Terry and I. And I want to say that we were swamped, but I don't want to get lost in that only because we had such a great team backing us up as a whole. I know Christy and Allison, they were on the phone answering all these questions, fielding all of these inquiries. Allison was on the phone going to the board and commission liaison saying, hey, what does your board look like? Who's on it? So we know the world we're working with. And she continued to do that, building on what we were doing. And one of the unsung heroes of this was Executive Director Yamane, who saw that Terry and I were pretty much underwater. We were not underwater, we were a lot to do. And she took on, we were treading water. But she took on the whole process of working with EIT to make sure that the system, this financial disclosure system, was what we really wanted. And she went through with the fine-tooth comb and made sure the law lined up with what the system said. And so what she did was she eliminated a lot of the potential issues we had at launch. And so when this thing launched, it was smoother than we expected. Was it perfect? No, but it was fairly smooth. And one of the other benefits that I don't think was recognized was that executive director was able to identify potential issues ahead of time, so that when we jumped into it, we knew that, hey, the TMK may not work perfectly. So we were able to warn people, and we were able to address it preemptively. And she also remained on that as that liaison between DIT and us. So when issues came up, she was able to go and address them and get changes throughout this whole process. And so that was a very big value to us. You know, as we went on, I'll speed it up a little bit. I think I'm talking too much, but you know, we had it was a tough time. You know, some of the information we had that we were presenting on initially was not accurate. So we thought we would have a guide with pictures, a step-by-step guide. That never came to fruition, unfortunately. We were presenting on that. The link we gave to people, the information wasn't 100% the easiest way to do it. And so these are issues that would come to bite us when at launch. And I remember sitting there, and also during this time, Terry and I had to take on the all-employee biennium training and also the biennium board and commission training. So all the work kind of multiplied. And I remember at one point, everything's going on, and we were sitting there on the day of the departmental Christmas party. And we couldn't go because that was the only day we had to record. And so everyone's leaving. And I remember we sat and we looked at each other and we're like, what are we doing? Is any of this going to help at all? And that was kind of the lowest point, but we kept on plugging ahead. And, you know, the team stayed with us. The team still supported the whole project, the whole idea. And as January went on, you know, I don't think Allison and Christy ever let go of the phone. I think it was glued to their hand the entire time. I know Jan was working with DIT continually on issues. Terry had a baby, so she was out. But I know myself, I made over 100 calls, some ranging 2 minutes. One person maxed out an hour 45 minutes. I was walking through the process with them. But instead of getting harder as the month went on, and instead of getting harder as the deadline approached, it got easier and it got better because all those relationships that we built really paid off. Where before our contact with the board liaisons was, what's your board look like? And here, these people haven't filed. In January of this year, they were coming to us and saying, hey, who on our board hasn't filed? What can we do? Let me get after them. And so this was all these things that we built up really worked. And when that last person filed, it was like, oh. And you know, the future I want to share looks bright because Allison recently got off the phone with somebody and she said that they were leaving office, so they have to file a leaving office disclosure. When they did that, they shared that everything was autofilled. And so it was easy. So the future hopefully looks pretty bright. And I'm not going to go on too much longer, but I want to share one story and kind of at the end why all this kind of really mattered for us. And it was one time we had an elderly commissioner and she had trouble filing. She said, I'm going to quit. I just got a hold of this PDF filing system. Now I have this online system and I'm done. I said, don't do that. We made appointments. I went to Copper Lake twice to meet with her. First time, forgot about the appointment, but that's okay. Second time, we sat down an hour and a half. And, you know, we not only went through all the technological problems, but what was more important and really kind of hit home was we shared all of her experiences. So the extensive experience she had in private sector, the extensive experience she had with nonprofits, bringing in a lot of money, doing a lot of wonderful, impressive things, and the experience, her stint with the city to do a very niche, specialized area. And so as we're going through this is a wealth of experience embodied in one person who's going to leave because we're trying to modernize the process, which is great. We need to. It's not a knock on that. But we need to have the support system and keep in mind that there's a lot of value to the city in really going that extra step and going in what this commission has really pushed. And that's that, you know, that soft touch, that involvement, that training and education, as opposed to enforcement. I think I can truly say that I think we've accomplished that this year with zero enforcement and 100% compliance. So thank you to the commission for really providing that guidance, and thank you for all the support of the wonderful staff. And yeah, it was a good year.
And just have to look at the last one, for sure.
No, and you know, the thing is, the capstone to all of that he was describing, in your meeting materials are 2 letters, one to the chair of the council and one to managing director. It's the first year that we've been able to send them up. Thank you very much, everyone has filed. In prior years, there would be a list attached of all of the delinquent filers, and could you please help us get these people to file? So that is a huge difference from years past. We included it in the meeting materials because it is a first. There were, as Eric was mentioning, there were no enforcement filings, no getting after people to file. There was a lot of touch. I will say he made a lot of phone calls and drove out to Kapolei or where else he needed to go to meet with people, but the result was clear. So thank you very much to everybody that was involved on the team for financial disclosures. It was a fantastic.
Thank
It was a
you. and
fantastic-
Congratulations on this effort. It's a first, wonderful.
Yeah. So I'll go on to lobbyist filings next. I'm on slide 7. The lobbyist team is pretty much the same as the disclosure team, except with the addition of Aaron, who did most of the review for the filings. Eric or Aaron, do you have anything that you'd like to add to the 100% compliance in this area as well?
Other than it's a continuation, and I know Terry was on the phone a lot last year, and we did the same, and we accomplished that 100% again in this, so the second year in a row.
All right, then I'll turn your attentions to slide 8, which shows the request for advice that came in February and March. And then on slide 9, the number of investigations that have come in, as well as closed cases, and the number that are active. These are all moving points of time. In future meetings, we'd like to be able to start charting these things on a go-forward basis. We are having a little difficulty with the new database that we have that seems to track things in a way that we don't count the same way as the database. So we're still working out those kinks. But in the future, I'd like to be able to chart those things on a more month-to-month basis. I think the final thing for statistics on slide 10
Can
is,
can I ask you a question?
oh, yes, of course.
On investigations, how many are, do we have a sense of aging, how aged? Can I tell, how do you tell that?
You know, that is something that we want to build into our
Yeah, I think
database.
it's important.
Right. And an aging report is something that we wanted to have.
That'd be good.
With the advent of the two investigators working as diligently and as hard as they do, we have almost cleared the deck of all the backlog cases, which is, again, a first for us. You know, we've never been able to catch up with the cases. But an aging report is something that the new database is supposed to be able to accomplish for
That's
us.
good.
So in the works.
And I have a quick question.
Yes.
I noticed in February, it more than doubled from March of the new cases received. Do you think that could be because employees are being trained and know to recognize now what is an ethics violation? Or,
We don't know.
We
You
don't
know,
know.
that it's a little difficult to tell. I know that we've tried to sort of tease out of the data, you know, causes or, you know, when I get to the end of the report, I'll express one thing that, you know, may have made a difference. But we don't know from month to month what causes. Often they're driven by things that happen in departments. Or all of a sudden somebody gets brave to finally say something because there's oftentimes when there's a little bit of a lag between when something actually happens. And, you know, sometimes it takes a while for people to feel comfortable enough to either reach out to us, or they can also reach out to the Integrity Hotline, which is, you know, the online system, either on the phone or online. It's anonymous, and it's a program that we're part of, but it's Budget and Fiscal Services Internal Control Division's contract with a third-party vendor.
I was just curious if there was a correlation to the uptick in training so that people now know what a violation is, and that might be why they know. That's all. I mean, I know you can't know that now, but it would be good if we could ever find a correlation to what happens with training versus what happens with inquiries.
In the past, we have seen correlations between training and, you
Yeah.
know, and filings, yeah. So, you know, it may well be.
Thank you.
Moving on to slide 10, we do have our ethics annual report. This is not the city's one. This is our standalone annual report. We do a very small print of these because they are, for our budget, very expensive to produce. It is multi-page. It has a pull-out cardstock of ethics by the numbers, which we see that just about anytime we talk to anybody, this is what they're looking at. This year's report is different from years past in that we started counting in fiscal year 15, and we have almost 10 years of data now. Next year that will mark the 10 years. And we know that for trending purposes, 10 years is a good amount of time. But even ahead of that, you know, this year what we tried to do was to show year over year, as well as some moving trends. There are some things that we can identify. We do know that when there's a new administration on the cusp of that change, in the middle of that fiscal year, you'll see a huge uptick in disclosures or in requests for advice on disclosures, because you've got people who are leaving the administration, wondering what they can do when they go out to another job, or new folks coming in administration wondering, oh my God, goodness, I've never done this before. So there are other things that we've noticed. One thing that we're not quite sure if we can quantify yet is there was a big drop in concerns reviewed this year, and we're not sure why. In fiscal year 22, there were 160, in fiscal year 21, 128. In fiscal year 23, there are 81, almost half of what it had been in fiscal year 22. We do know that we stepped up our outreach and education efforts within the city. We had pop-up tables, we had more, close contacts with employees and others. We don't know whether questions were answered or people felt more comfortable reaching out and therefore didn't file ethics concerns. But there is a 50% drop that's dramatic. So, we're wondering whether this next year will show something different. We will be hitting the end of the fiscal year on June 30, 2024. So we're in the last quarter now. But we don't yet know whether or not this number will hold low as it did in 2023 or whether it will shoot back up like in 2022. So that's the kind of stuff that you can only see when you've got year-on-year data. Anyway, we're very proud of this. We showcased it at council when we went for our budget discussions. They seemed to like it, and they all did this and pulled out the one page. So I'm thinking, well, maybe we can, add a little bit more to this webpage insert and see if we can make it even more information dense without making it busy.
Two sides, you could make it.
Yeah, we could make it two sides. Any questions on that? If not, I'll continue on. Moving to slide 11. The executive operating budget for fiscal year 2024, which is the year we are currently in. We're actually very thrilled that our renovation is done. We have a little money left over in the budget that we can use to outfit offices with. We weren't sure how it was going to work out when we moved in, and we're still moving in. We're going to have to buy a few items to make offices work a little better. When you do walk through the office afterwards, you'll see that there are lots of cords hanging into the hallway now. And I'm a little worried that I'm the one that's going to walk down the hallway with my purse. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to drag all those things down. So things like that, we're looking at outfitting our offices with. The executive operating budget for fiscal year 25, which begins July 1, 2024, ends June 30, 2025, is actually adhering today before council on second reading. I've added the other dates in there just so that you have a sense of how the budget moves. By the time June 5th comes, the third reading of the budget bill, things are pretty much set. And then by June 15th, according to the charter, that is the deadline to adopt the budget. So the council is on a pretty strong time frame between now and June. I'll move to slide 12 and I'll turn over the education and outreach training program report to our training specialist, Kirsten Aoyagi. Take it away, Kristen.
Good morning.
My apologies.
It's okay, I missed it. So first to start off, we'll be talking about our mandatory ethics training. So for city employees, it increased a lot since last time. It's now 5,436 have completed it. So a nice increase. And then for board and commission, it also has increased a bit as well.
Carol, did you just call me? I'm sorry, I was on the phone.
32 board and commission members have completed their training. Oh, sorry. Should I repeat that last part?
No.
Okay. And then for we do have departments that are gearing up for HCL already, Honolulu City Lights. So they're already doing their fundraising and things like that. So I went ahead and with the team, we created a new HCL fundraising ethics training video. Something quick and easy for them to watch and get a general understanding of how fundraising goes and how to include ethics in their fundraising. And we also have a train the trainer session for the Department of Parks and Recs District 4 on May 10th. And I know Vice Chair, you'll be attending as well with us. So that should be exciting.
Can I go back to the city, Honolulu City Lights? Who is doing that? Is that the Department of Culture and Arts and Culture? Or is it a
It's a
private?
department that wants
Is it a
fundraise.
private nonprofit who's doing that?
No.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know why they needed to.
Yeah.
Oh, the city lights.
Know the guidelines.
I'd be happy to provide some background. Honolulu City Lights is the city's gift to the community. Every year the mayor designates it as kind of it's a nice holiday event They outfit Honolulu Hale as well as Kapolei Hale to the nines. If you haven't been, you should
Oh,
go.
I've done
All of the, yeah,
That's
okay,
why I was
okay.
questioning who's doing
Right.
who's doing it.
Well,
Putting it
so
on.
all of the departments are responsible for a tree. And the tree that goes in the courtyards is masterminded by usually the newest employees in the department. I think Eric participated last year. Maybe our newest employee, Kirsten, will participate this year. But each department masterminds a tree. Now, it's always interesting that information technology has all of those tech skills and their tree usually lights up with music and everything. You know, sometimes the design and construction department or the other ones that have lots of engineers in them, the tree will revolve and all of these things. Corporation Council, which we participate with because we are administratively attached to Corporation Council, we're the lawyers in the city. And so our tree is often not as fancy, but last year I think we did win one of the awards for the Spirit Award or something. I think it was the 12 Days of Christmas, you know, depicted on the tree in the very,
Subpoenas on there.
you know, well,
have-
there was a description. I think Eric was
I did write
responsible for
it.
So is this fundraising piece for
the decoration.
the decoration? Thank you. I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, so that's the
What piece
time.
it is. Thank you.
That's the time. So any fundraising, because it's designated by the mayor as a community-wide, a project with community-wide benefit. City resources and time can be used for fundraising. So you'll see within the city, many of the departments will have a bake sale or a lunch sale or something. Only city employees can participate. But they raise enough funds to then purchase the materials. Many of the decorations are homespun. So they purchase the materials to make the decorations on a themed tree, which then is put up in one of the hallways to celebrate the season.
Thank you.
So it's an opportunity for city employees to kind of meet and greet each other at these fundraisers. It's also, we're not on campus, but for the ones on campus, they can go from, you know, fundraiser to fundraiser, have a lunch from, you know, picked up or purchased or made by one of the other employees. I think some of them have very great ethnic cooking skills. And so some of those things are used for fundraising sales. So I hope that provides. enough.
Yeah, more than enough. I was just curious.
Yes.
Thank you. Kirsten, go ahead, continue. Thank you.
So we do have the video up for us to watch, so you can see what I've been working on. for a
Yeah.
bit.
It's an actual product.
Yeah, it's a product.
I think Erin has it and she's gonna share screen with us.
Sound.
Darren, is it playing sound on your side?
Aloha, and welcome to this year's Honolulu City Lights fundraising training video. My name is Kirsten Aoyagi, and I'm the training specialist for the Ethics Commission. In this video, I'll be going over the basics of fundraising to ensure we continue to maintain our ethical conduct. Here is our agenda for today. We'll be going over why is HCL important, what can be advertised, who can participate and attend, and if you have any leftover funds, what now? So first, why is HCL important? Well, for those of you who may not know, Honolulu City Lights, also known as HCL, is no ordinary event. It's been declared by the mayor as a project with a community-wide benefit, meaning we can use city resources for fundraising. This could be using your office printer to print fundraising flyers or signs, or using city time to work on HCL items. HCL is our gift to the city, and every department is encouraged to participate in fundraising to cover decoration costs, ensuring each HCL year is unique and spectacular. Let's now go over advertising guidelines. City employees can contribute to HCL by baking or bringing in items to donate. However, can retired or past employees do the same? Yes, as long as the items are used only for HCL. Unfortunately, they are not allowed to purchase any items during the fundraiser events. More on this later. Now, let's say a retired or past employee was well known for their Ono Halpia pies. Can you sell and make promotional flyers for their pies? Absolutely, as long as they're not running a business. What if you don't have time to bake anything or would rather buy baked goods? Can you sell branded items like Leonard's Malasadas or Zip Packs? This may seem like an issue of promoting a private company product. However, if you get approval from the managing director, you are allowed to sell those branded items. An important reminder, if your department receives a donation from a non-city source, make sure the donation is addressed to your agency, not to an individual employee. Additionally, the item can only be used for HCL and, if applicable, the thank you letter must state it will be used for HCL. Lastly, ensure that CORE is informed of the gift to properly report it to City Council. Because HCL is our gift to the community, only city employees and officers are allowed to participate in departmental fundraising events. As previously stated, retired or past employees are not allowed to attend. This will continue to form a sense of community and collaboration while remaining ethical. After HCL season is over, your department may have some leftover funds from fundraising efforts. It's important to note that any unused fundraising funds must be applied to next year's HCL. These funds may not be used for unrelated expenses like a new office chair, hosting a holiday party, or purchasing a new mini fridge. Mahalo for participating in this year's Honolulu City Lights fundraising. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Ethics Commission. Let's make this year's HCL event as ethical and enchanting as possible.
Thank you.
And so that was the video.
Thank you.
Sorry it was quiet, but when you watch it, on your own device, it's better.
Actually, if I could interject here just a minute. We have been involved with City Lights as a resource to the committee. I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago, we got ourselves invited to the kickoff. And we told them that, the committee that, the city employees who are on the committee, that we would like to set the tone for how these fundraising things happen. Set some guidelines just so that everybody's on the same page, present something so that they would all hear, because each department sends, I think, at least two folks to that kickoff meeting. That way they can take that information back to their own department so that when they start their fundraising, they would have some idea of what the parameters were. Over time, we've been able to do it via WebEx, I think, in prior years. And this year we have the baseline video, which kind of just puts out that information. Any specific questions can, of course, still come to us. So I think it's evolved over time from in-person to a WebEx to now a training video. So, moving always forward in ways to get that outreach and education out to the employees.
And how many departments does this go to?
It'll go to everyone on the department.
52?
Not that many departments, but about 20 something.
We have about 23 or 24.
And some departments will have multiple units belong to, go to the committee.
If I can add one more thing, because I did the training last year and I couldn't make it, I had a video, but nothing like this was amazing. But it was, but one of the limitations that we ran into last year is that if we didn't attend that meeting and we didn't present by WebEx or in person or with that, we didn't get our reach didn't extend beyond that initial meeting. But now with this, with training specialists who can create this, it can be safely circulated and it looks good. This is a great benefit that I think we were lacking other years. Instead of word of mouth, relying on the word of mouth for what we said, this is firsthand.
With that, I'll move on. So we do have our second pop-up event coming up. It will be on May 15th at Honolulu College. and then to see the other two that are left for the year. So we're gearing up towards May. And then for our e-newsletters, we just released the March Pops Backup Pay Stubs newsletter. And I actually did receive a compliment email saying how it was just great info and a great reminder. So seems like this one people liked. And then for the April newsletter, we also just released that one. I did get some feedback, so I will go ahead and review it with the team. We are thinking of possibly having like a short survey at the end of the year, just to ask people like what they thought about the newsletter and what they would like to change, and we can go ahead and improve it for next year. Good idea. And with that, that's all I have to report.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions for Sally?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
She has a wonderful skill set, I'll tell you.
She has a newsletter, it's also in your meeting materials.
Yes, yeah.
Then we'll go back to the next item, which is on slide 17, having to do with legislation. Bill 26, 2022 CD2 was our gifts bill. It did expire on April 12th, so it is dead. In your media articles that are attached for the meeting materials, you'll see that we got quite a bit of coverage thanks to Chair Monk's outreach. Others, I know, met with their council members, did some outreach. Even Big Q, I don't know how many of you follow that big pie chart, Big Q thing in the Star Advertiser, but there is overwhelming support by members of the public, at least in their data set, that would support strengthening gift laws. At the last hearing, when the bill did not advance and we knew that it would be dead soon, the council did approach us and say that they were going to reintroduce it in a new version, in a new life, which they are doing today at this very moment. Lori is now the Assistant Executive Director of the new council, Lori Walker-Nowinski, is attending the council meeting as we speak to testify in support, requesting amendments of what is now Bill 23, 2024. So it is first hearing, it has to start all over again. So it has to go through 3 full hearings, it'll go to committee twice. We have our work cut out for us. But in the event that it passes through all of those gates, we could have a bill by June or July. It's possible. So don't give up the hope yet. It's moving. We hope that, at today's meeting, it will go on to be referred to committee. It will go to the Executive Matters and Legal Affairs Committee at the next round. It is the version that was last to be addressed at council. So it is not back all the way to square one. It is the last version that was proposed. So we're starting at a good place. It's a little ahead of the game.
It's a matter of verbiage.
Yes, yes. And there are some sticking points that, we feel strongly about. The council obviously has its own opinion of some of those things. We hope to work with them to fine tune language and arrive at what we hope is going to be, acceptable to everyone. The next slide shows slide 18.
Jan, can I say
Yeah.
something? Let me turn my stuff down. I agree, keep at it. We put too much work into it to give up, but keep at it. The other thing is, today in the New York Times, there was an article on the state of Hawaii and how corrupt it is. And part of it is campaign contributions and things like that. And what the state legislature passed regarding gifts and campaign contributions is, the corporations can't give gifts or cannot give gifts or give campaign contributions, but the officers, directors, employees of the corporations are free to. So it didn't do anything to stop some of the improper campaign contributions. I think our bill on gift giving not campaign contributions, but on gift giving, focuses really well on trying to eliminate all kinds of gifts that could look like trying to influence employees. So interesting article if you get a chance to read it.
There.
Yes,
I think most of us caught it real quick. And you know, what you're saying, Commissioner Marks, is so important. And I think will have everything to do with any legislation that we ask for further on. What was so interesting about that article is that when the legislature created the very bill that was supposed to control and eliminate ethics conflicts, they built in the loopholes for it, which is exactly what you were saying. That the corporation may not, however, anybody within it certainly can. And so it's the loophole issue that we have to watch for in everything that we write.
There's his hands full.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I think we all had a knee-jerk reaction to it. Jen got emails from all of us.
We did. And we are going to send it out to everybody so that everyone is aware who didn't get a chance to read your morning paper.
Right. Given Citizens United, the corporation were somehow pushed up to the side.
Well, this was years ago that they wrote that law.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we didn't have that many watchdog organizations with the power to say, wait a minute, slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's an important issue. I think it should help us for that kind of article to come out on a council meeting day. And going forward, we can always refer back to it. The federal case is moving against Mr. Mitsunaga. Those things are in the news and the public is watching.
Yes.
Which is a good time for us to be, trying to move this legislation. So I think all of those things will play to our benefit.
And I think I can say full-heartedly that our city council, which I'm quite proud of the demographic, the members, I think they are very serious about ensuring that they are on top of things and that they won't have the same kind of ethics issues that the legislature has had. That doesn't mean in the past that councils didn't experience that, but now I think more than ever, there's so many eyes watching and they're self-regulating is what I've seen. So this is a very important topic.
And it may be a small nuance, but this new bill that's being introduced today, Bill 23, 2024, is not by request of the Ethics Commission. Chair Waters and Vice Chair Kia Aina, on their own volition, are introducing this measure. It may be a small nuance, but I believe it's significant.
Absolutely.
Any further comments or questions? If not, I'll move to slide 18, which has to do with COBO Connects, the Conference on Governmental Ethics Laws. There are a number of these coming up. I think there's 7 listed in the materials. If anyone is interested in, any commissioners are interested in signing up, please ask Leland for assistance. He's kind of our guru on registrations and getting everybody in the right room at the right time. So please reach out to him for assistance and he'd be happy to help.
I'd like to thank Leland because all things COBO is in. And I said, how do I get this? How do I participate? And lickety split, he had me involved and I think all the commissioners, if they haven't already, be a part of the COBO as an active individual from the Honolulu Ethics Commission. I think it makes us look good. And I think that the programs they're putting on is amazing. So, and I am going to try and attend the December live conference in Los Angeles. And I think tomorrow there's a webinar about elections.
Election.
I'm going to be watching that closely. Thank you, David.
Thanks for keeping us organized.
Yes.
No, it's good. Yeah.
I'll move ahead to slide 20, other education opportunities. Again, these are save the dates. One for the Society of Corporate Compliance and Ethics and the other one for the Council on Governmental Ethics Laws. Moving to slide 21, this has to do with evaluation forms for my evaluation coming up in June. I believe we had outreach from Chair Monk. Oh, hello.
Oh,
Dr. Lynch.
may I
Yes,
interrupt the
please.
meeting, please? Ladies and gentlemen, we are very pleased to have our newest member, Commissioner Dr. Cynthia Mark Lynch. And I would like to welcome her, and she is already adorned with multiple lei because she was at city council, and I'm sure people were celebrating you. Oh, welcome. Thank you to everyone. And then we will proceed with the meeting. So everyone, this is the illustrious ethicist, Dr. Lynch, the newest commissioner. Very, very happy to have you.
Do you know if you wanted to say anything or?
Just it's an honor and privilege to be able to serve with you, and we look forward to doing great things.
Wonderful. We're so happy that you're on board. I know that, Vice Chair and I were emailing back and forth about timing, and she said, oh, will she be able to come? And I said, well, it depends upon if council's on time.
Yeah.
We're so happy that you're here to join us.
The meeting started a little late this morning, and we had a guest that spoke for a very long time.
Sometimes I get to do that despite being told the time limit. And I'm sure you had supporters there who were also celebrating for you.
Yeah, my bosses were there. Wine specifically.
Excellent, excellent, that's wonderful. And after this meeting, we're going to take a tour of the new offices for the commission, and you will get to meet everybody individually.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry for the interruption, Jan.
The evaluation forms? For
Yes.
the evaluation. Now, my understanding is that the forms that Chair Monk has are somewhat corrupted. He said that there were some issues and that he would turn to Commissioner Adler for his space documents. I know you're in the middle of a move right
Well,
now.
I sent them, what I had.
Okay.
I will follow up with whoever
Okay.
the next victim is on this one.
So anyway, I understand that the process is likely to be about the same, that whoever is designated as the holder of those documents will do the compilation. I believe you did it last year, and we will go forward
So, yes, it's the evaluation of,
of
The
my-
staff. I have not seen anything.
Okay, well, I believe Commissioner Adler has all of the.
I haven't, but I want to go to pass it on to and work with to make sure it all works.
We can designate someone today at today's meeting if that's.
I would designate somebody who's not here. Frankly. Who's not here.
Well, then there's only one.
I think we need to punish.
Oh, my.
There's only one person.
It is, it's kind of takes a lot of work.
Commissioner Marks, are you game for this? We see you shaking your head, but
No, I am here. I'm not game for this.
okay, who else can we pick on? Who else is there? Well, Commissioner, oh, I don't know. I have a feeling he's not going to do it.
He's not here.
Oh, Chair Mike. Since he's the one who started it.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so let's designate him. In absentia, we all vote aye unanimously.
All right.
How good is Commissioner Lynch at IT things? Maybe she can take it up.
What level of IT are we talking about?
I don't know.
It's actually an Excel form
Oh, okay.
that got messed up along the way. We used it for a couple of years, but it needs some reformulations. I don't know if we have anybody who's good on Excel.
Yeah.
What's that?
I have people that can help with Excel.
I
The
love
technical part.
But well, what if
Does it have to be done on Excel?
well, I actually took it off Excel and moved it into Word.
Yeah, I think Excel is not the best
No, I don't either.
thing to create a survey.
Oh, no.
So you do surveys all
Yes,
the
I do.
time.
survey.
Would you be game to take this on?
Yes, if there's a
I'll
standard.
learn so much so fast.
Yes,
Well,
you will.
that would be a good thing. That would
Yes.
be a good thing.
Okay.
Well, then maybe I would suggest that,
It's initiation by fire.
Yes, yeah, right. That's
but
right.
if we were to have Chair Monk as kind of the main touch point with
Commissioner, I'm trying to think if I should call you Commissioner Lynch or Dr. Lynch or Commissioner Lynch. Work with Chair Monk, because of course you haven't been here. You don't know this process.
No, it's,
And then he can provide whatever guidance.
I'll help support him.
All right,
Whatever way I
great.
can.
And then Commissioner Adler will provide.
So now we've got a triad.
Yes, so now there's the exit triad.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
very-
much. Great to have you on board.
I live to serve. Well, that's the final item of this meeting.
Does anyone have anything else to share with the commission? And if not, if I could just ask the commissioners especially to stay on so that we can introduce you, and then at some point, hopefully, Dr. Lynch will have a chance to meet all of the staff. That
I
might
want to
be
go
a-
on the tour too.
Yeah, I wonder if
Yes.
that might be a little
Yeah.
difficult, you know, can we adjourn the meeting? Maybe if we can call for the
Yes.
motion to adjourn.
Okay, so thank you very much, Director Imani. And let's move on now to our last agenda item, which is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll go.
And a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you all for a great, oh, sorry, our next meeting then will be on June 19th, 2024. Please mark your calendars now. And I want to thank you all for a very great meeting, to the staff, to the other commissioners. I'm sorry, I have to take a vote on adjournment. I forgot about that. So what say you all? May we adjourn, please? We've had a motion and a second. Call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Seeing no opposition, we will adjourn this meeting. Again, thank you all so much. Thank you to the staff, thank you to the commissioners, and we will see you June 19th.
Thank you. And commissioners and staff, can you stay on for just a minute? Moana, you as well, so that we can at least have Dr.